Okay, thank you, everybody. I want to build on a couple of things. Earlier in one of the sessions that were in this room, we had one of the speakers say that they really want to make sure that the best work that pipeliners do is buried, and that's what everything we do around quality and API 1169 is intended to do. Now, in theory, quality is going to be free the first time. So if we can get contractors, personnel, supervision, and inspection knowing what the specs are, then we're going to end up with fairly well-constructed project that's going to meet the specifications. What happens is all that goes unnoticed. It's considered free. People go about their business, and nobody gets the fact that we're looking at all these other things. We're looking at progress, we're looking at quantity, and the quality part of it, well, it's inherent. Of course we're going to do it right. We wouldn't do anything else, would we? Anybody in this room that's a pipeliner, would you ever put something in the ground incorrectly? Not knowingly. But a lot of times we do a very poor job of getting the information we need to the people that need the information, both for the installation and for the inspection. We've got a lot of really good inspection reports. We get every inspector to fill out a report. But these reports, we've gone through numerous reports. And you could go through hundreds of reports and you'd be very hard pressed to find anything around quality. You find lots of stuff on progress. You find lots of stuff on all the LEM information you need, the labor, equipment, the materials that are used. But the quality is, it's second nature, or okay, it's secondary in reporting, and it's considered inherent in the operations. So the best example I've got is we were going through a bunch of reports, and we've gone to more of a digital data management system, and our idea is that we're going to get the data and we'll be able to do some analysis with it. And the one request I had is, do not give me another Australian inspection report. And I said, well, what's an Australian inspection report? Another good day. So we started looking at that, and that was that was the inspector's way. He had a blank to fill in, so let's fill in the blank. So we've done a bunch of stuff around make it pick lists, draw out the information you want. If you want information on a weld parameter, make sure you list what's in there. Give them a no-go. So all that stuff is adding a bunch to getting this free quality. One thing we're finding is that we reward, again, we reward productivity. We don't tend to reward quality things. So what we've got to do is we've got to bring the quality aspects to the same place that we've brought safety, where quality catches are rewarded. There's not fear of reprisal because you find something that's not done adequately. This is fairly telling. You get these double negatives, and this will come from a contractor, it'll come from an inspector, and it points to the need that if we could get people to read the spec, read the drawing, we'd probably get lots better installation. But so often, you could go up to somebody and ask them, okay, how are you doing this work? Well, the same way I did it on pick an owner. If it's on an Enbridge job, they're doing it the way they did it on Plains. If they're on Plains job, they're doing it the way they did it on Marathon's job last time. And that gets us in just a world of hurt. It gets close, but it doesn't meet the specifications we're trying to get to. So from this, SEPA and INGA members endorsed the idea of an API 1169 certification for new pipeline construction. Note reference for a second here. So all INGA and SEPA member companies have endorsed this. They want the inspectors that are working on pipelines to go through the qualification process, of passing the examination associated with the API Recommended Practice 1169, which was first published in 2013. This establishes a baseline for pipeline inspectors coming in. To this point, each owner company has been responsible for any training, and there's been extensive training. Some companies will do up to a week, some companies have ongoing computer-based training, but we needed a method of getting to a common goal for entry level so that pipeline inspection could be considered a career path rather than a fill-in job until I find my next job as a foreman. Pipeline inspectors don't come from, or don't tend to come from a formal education, they come from the industry. So if we need an increase in the number of inspectors, we're out stealing contractor personnel, and we go back and forth like that. So we have to find a better way of having a common pool of people that are qualified, competent, and have a baseline of knowledge. It was developed in cooperation with the industry. It took a long time to get through the process of having the actual 1169 document prepared. Probably in the order of 2 years. When you went through the process of trying to establish examination questions, you found that there'd been a real broad variety of views. We're going to make API 1169 everything for all people. It's going to cover facilities, operations, environment, new pipeline construction. And that, you could see that, but they were able to get it focused so that it was for new pipeline construction only. It covers all the inspection aspects. It makes sure it has a safety component. Look, it's got a safety component, environmental component, and covers the basic aspects of pipeline construction. Went through a lot of iterations. At one point, the idea was that SEEP and INGA were going to take everybody's certificates and they were going to issue their own, and that became unmanageable and untenable. So the idea now is you've got that general inspector qualification that applies to everybody. Chief inspectors, welding inspectors, coating, and any other specialties like hydrotest or HDD that API may develop in the future. Implementation goals are up there, they're pretty straightforward. What I can say about Enbridge's progress to this point, we have 2 spreads going right now, and we already have 15% of our inspectors certified. We've worked diligently with our inspection service providers, so there's been lots of programs before, and everybody gave us the, yeah, sure, what are you going to come up with the next flavor of the month? This isn't flavor of the month. We're doing this. The industry's behind it, and we're definitely behind it. So INGA, in working, or not INGA, but API in working with them, they've just come out with some additional exam sessions. We've passed that information on this morning to our service providers, and we expect that if we have the volume work we hope to have in 2017, we'll be in good shape to meet that 50% for 2017. Get lots of questions around the full implementation when you're at 100%. And my answer to that is, you may have inspectors in the industry that aren't certified, but what I can tell you, they won't be working for us. And to add to that, one of our markers for proper performance next year will be how close you are to certifying to this level. So by 2018, if you're not 100% certified on your projects, you won't be collecting your bonus. That simple. Why did we do this? We wanted the consistency. There isn't another inspection job on earth where there's not some form of baseline qualification. Pipeline was the outlier, and it was left to the companies to provide all that internal training. This makes it more consistent. At the time we were working on this, the regulators indicated to us that in the interest of transparency, if we weren't going to do something, they were going to help us. And we felt we were better off to do something on our own rather than having something foisted on us that may not meet all our needs. What the program is, it's for all new pipeline construction. It acknowledges there's specialities for welding and coating. Safety and environment inspectors have been taking the training and passing the exam, and they find it useful. It's not mandatory. Will it be in the future? We're not sure. In facilities inspectors, we put some of them through the program. They've enjoyed it as well. And by working with our service providers and other owners, they're catching on that it's a good idea. We did have service providers that felt, well, as I pointed out before, no, you're not really going to follow through on this. Through working with them, everyone's on side, and there's only one that doesn't have their own internal training program. So this is pretty important. We really want the inspectors to come with a certain minimum qualification. That doesn't mean as owners or project managers that you throw up your hands and say, everything's good, and if something goes wrong, the first question I'm going to have is, who is the inspector? You still have a responsibility to manage. Training's interesting. We had people at the start, 30-year inspectors, went and took the exam and failed. They refused to read any of the background material, refused to read the 69 pages of 1169, and they proved to themselves that you do have to prepare for anything you want to be successful at. Okay, so if we don't have inspection we believe in, then the whole concept of safety and quality in a pipeline goes out the window. And our inspection staff are that last opportunity we have to record, document, and verify that it was done correctly. Back to your example of the third-party damage happening at the last minute as the pipe's going in the ground. I've got one of those right now. Well, would you mind if we did mechanical excavation around the pipe? Yeah, I mind a lot. They are our last I guess with this, it's not even picking on the welders. Welders get over-tested. They're always testing. They test every job. But take it like a driver's license even. If you don't at least do some kind of preparation, you shouldn't be out there with everybody else that's properly qualified and trained. This is the recommended practice, 69 pages. It is going to go through a rewrite, probably starting in 2017. I expect the next edition will be out in 2018, but it's very, the operational technical group has asked for input into it, and probably around December 3rd I'll know what's going on. Thank you.